As always, to kick the episode off, we're going to go through all of the transfers that happened in Season 5, all of the players that have left and all of the players that have arrived. And the first player to leave the club was Ainsley Maitland-Niles. We had an offer of around £9 million come in from Al Shabab. He was allowed to leave the club. The next player to go was Paulinho. He was another one who suffered with work permit issues towards the end of his time with us. Olympiacos came in. They gave us around £5.5 million, which was a great deal considering we hadn't paid that much for him in season number 1. And the final player to leave was Monchu. Didn't really plan on selling him, but Al Nassr came in with a bid of £35 million. And I thought, you know what? He's 28. We can probably replace him with another player of a similar ability with a bit of a younger age. So with those players leaving, let's see who we brought in. The first player to arrive for £25 million was Cole Palmer. Now, he was at Chelsea, obviously, but had moved to Rangers. And then Rangers were selling him. He almost joined Newcastle, but we hijacked the deal at the last moment. Gave him a bump in wages. He's on £91,000 at West Brom. But we managed to secure an English player who is young, can play across the middle of the park. I think he's going to be a fantastic player for the final season. The next signing was Czech Decore, 28 years old, Malian. He's big, he's strong. He replaces Monchu perfectly like for like. We sold Monchu for 35. We bought Decore for 35. And the final player to come in was Ivan Jaime. He's a left-sided player who has played for Braga, Porto and Nice in this save. He now comes to us and will occupy a left-sided berth. Will give a bit of competition to Nasi Anuvar, hopefully. So that was all the transfer business for the final season. Did it enable us to have a bigger push towards the top of the Premier League? Kicking off the competitions, we are looking at the Carabao Cup. We went in at the third round stage. Drawn against Brentford, we scraped through. We had a 1-1 draw in the game and went through on penalties. In the fourth round, we were paired up against Sunderland. We would beat them 3-0. In the quarterfinals, we would play against Newcastle. A 2-0 victory got us into the semi-finals. We would play against Chelsea, and after a 2-2 draw across 2 games, we would win on penalties to be put in the final to play against Manchester City, where we would win 3-1, and that would complete the set of domestic cups. In this save, we have now won the FA Cup and we have won the League Cup. We also have that Community Shield too. So there is the Carabao Cup final. Goals from Guilherme, Anuvar and Decore would seal us another domestic cup. In the FA Cup, we would go in the third round. We would play against Manchester City there and we would win 3-2. In the fourth round, we would be paired off against Liverpool, where sadly, that's where our FA Cup run would come to an end. We would go out in the fourth round as we would lose 2-1. In the Europa League, we would start in the league phase, where we would finish 4th in the table. We'd have a record of playing 8 games, winning 6, drawing 1, losing 1, had a goal difference of 13, and would finish on 19 points, just 3 points off of Fiorentina, who would top the league phase. If we then move on to the round of 16, we were paired off against Monaco, where sadly we would exit the competition at the round of 16, losing 2-1 on aggregate. That means that in the Premier League, we were looking to better last season's performance, and we did. We would finish 2nd in the league. Now the board will be mightily annoyed that Aston Villa have gone on and won the Premier League, and that is because one of our objectives from the supporters was to finish above Aston Villa in the league. We couldn't do it. We got close. We were in a title race all the way to the wire. Aston Villa would win the league with 79 points. We would finish 2nd on 77, and that season we played 38 games. We won 25. We drew 2. Lost 11, had a goal difference of 23, so it's still improving, and we got 77 points to finish just 2 points off of winning the league. Looking at a few of the stats, Luis Guilherme was the top average rated player for our team with 7.26. He also had 6 Player of the Match awards. We had Arta and Jason Malumbi on 11 and 10 yellow cards in that. So a fantastic end to the 5 seasons, but it begs the question, can we really leave it there? Can we finish second, and not go on and try and win the Premier League, what could happen in the Champions League? That is a big question that we're going to ask us. I think we need a sixth season. I think we're going to go for it. We're going to go and try our very best to get one step further in the Premier League and certainly give the Champions League a crack. So with us now going into a sixth season in the Save, let's have a look at what the finances will be for that sixth season. So the transfer budget will be £62.8 million. The wage budget will be £1.9 million. We're currently spending 1.7. Our overall balance is £14.2 million. So once again, the board are prepared to back us with money that they don't really have. In terms of the club vision, so we are now very secure in the job. We have an A- from the board. Looking at the actionable objectives, work within the wage budget, on course. Spend the original transfer budget, delighted. Increase commercial revenue. That is a big one for the club to survive. Informational objectives, expand the stadium. So the board now are prepared to spend the money on the stadium to try and get more people in to increase that revenue. By the end of next season, they want to be competitive in the Champions League and record a Premier League top half finish. Looking at the board feedback then, board cultures now, make the most of set pieces, pleased. Play entertaining football, pleased. Play high tempo pressing football, pleased. They are happy with the 1-0 victory against Villa. They are very pleased with the highly impressive 3-0 Premier League dismantling of Tottenham, and they're delighted with the positive atmosphere in the changing room. In terms of the supporters then, they still want the attacking football, the direct football, make the most of set pieces, play entertaining football and play counter-attacking football. They want us to be competitive against Aston Villa, so we got away with that one really because we were competitive by running them close and we did beat them during the season. And they want to be ahead of Birmingham City and finish above Wolves in the league. They were happy with the 3-0 dismantling of Tottenham, happy with the 1-0 victory against Aston Villa, and very pleased with the emphatic 3-0 Premier League win against Sunderland. We get an A- from the supporters, we get an A- from the board, and it's great feedback going into season number 6. So in preparation for season number 6, let's have a look at the first team and the starting 11 that I will be picking on more often than not, a regular basis. And I would go with Goncalves in goal, Roth, Van Hecke, Rodon and Arthur, Decore, Cassidy and Neto as my midfield 3. On the left, I would play Lewis Gilherme. On the right, Cole Palmer and Waper up top. It's again another one where Waper has really outperformed himself in this team. He scored another 21 league goals from 35 appearances and continues that run of not scoring less than 20 league goals in a single season. Lewis Gilherme, he is now started to really produce some of his best football in that season. 30 appearances, 7 goals, 10 assists, 6 Player of the Match awards and a 7.26 average rating. On the right-hand side, Cole Palmer, he came into the club at the start of the season. He played 37 league games, 7 goals, 6 assists, 2 Player of the Match awards, 6.82 average rating. Czech Decore was another one that came in for big money this season. He managed to play in 28 games with 3 goals, 6 assists. He's settled well into the team and really is that bruising midfielder in the middle of the park. If we go into the squad planner and look at the assistant best 11, so he would go with this lineup: Goncalves, Roth, Holding, Van Hecke, Arthur, Decore, Neto, Cassidy, Jaime, Gilherme and Waper up top. So a few small changes there from what my team would be. He prefers Jaime on the left, Gilherme on the right, whereas I have accommodated Palmer by moving Gilherme across, and I think that just works better, and it obviously hasn't been at the detriment of Waper. If we go into the assistant report then, so overall depth now is a weakness, but we've got £60 million to spend. Crossing, overall squad standard, apparently it's mediocre squad standard compared to the rest of the league, but we're outperforming teams because we just finished second in the Premier League. Pace, stamina, concentration, work rate. On the strengths, punching tendency, youth prospects, through balls, top goal scorer, best player form, goalkeeper depth, defensive depth. So there's depth in areas but not in others. So overall depth is not good, and we are better in other areas. So going into season 6 with £60 million to spend, I'm not 100% sure where we're going to spend this money. Maybe goalkeeper, if anywhere. I think he's one. He's been, like I said, we bought him as a backup goalkeeper. He's ended up keeping the job long term. Looking across the back four, Roth, Van Hecker, Rodon and Arthur, they're all doing great jobs. Maybe could get an upgrade on Rodon. Not 100% sure if he's going to be a player that will end the save in that position, but going further up the pitch, it just gets better and better. All the wonder kids that we managed to bring in have been absolutely fantastic. So with season 6 now to look forward to, I'm going to go off and prepare for that. Definitely going to look at some players that we can bring in. May as well spend the money if it's definitely going to be the final season. I only want one shot at the Champions League and at the Premier League. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you could hit the like and subscribe to the channel, I really would appreciate it. Cannot thank you all enough for all the support you've given. Helping the channel to grow has been absolutely fantastic. Before you go, don't forget there's other things on the channel, such as Let's Plays, hints and tips, tutorials, Wonder Kids, a little bit of something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Come back and join me for the finale of the West Brom save soon.